back out here on the Euro trip again today. You see, did some stuff without filming it because he wants to see a bunch of welding going on. Welded the door mount for the A-pillar back on, and in the meantime, I was able to locate the Cowl vent panel, put a couple screws through it, just to see how it fits. So far, it's pretty good, but I'm going to change something up on it from earlier, from what I was talking about. Get that in a second. Got some parts in from National Part Depot, primarily these outer cowl side panels here. This one's pretty much located for where it is, but also used it for me so I can figure out how to do it to actually properly locate it right. But we're on this side here is the old one's back in place. Had a little bit of problem locating the newer one, and I'll get that to a minute. Back to that in a minute. But one of the reasons why I had the old one on there is to figure out how the factory did it. Because if you see, I have a buttload of clamps up in the area, up this area up here. It's this flange here. Let's see if we can zoom in and actually get the focus. There's a pretty big gap, misalignment. There we go. There's a pretty big gap, some misalignment up in here. And I was kind of curious if it came that way from the factory. And one of the big things about keeping all the original pieces that you take off, it's one thing I learned from working on an aircraft, keep everything till you're done with it. And once you're done with it, toss it. I mean, that's from like the time you take it off to the time you put the new panel on. Once the new panel's in place, then get rid of it. That's why I keep the old panels, old rusty panels until like I said, weld them off, until they're welded on there. But the nice thing about keeping them is they have clues to how they went back together originally. And here's the old cowl panel. And let's change the shutter speed here. There's the shutter, or f-stop. There you go. That's what I'm talking about, f-stop. You can see how high up where they had the welds originally. So that's pretty indicative of that means it was built like that. So it's not me screwing up. The parts came in from National Parts Depot wrong or anything like that. So that's pretty nice to know that it was just made that way from the factory, and they just literally clamped the shit out of it and then went and spot welded it. Well, hopefully in a few minutes I'll get to showing how I will fit the new one up, and some the way it came and how you got to bend it and other odds and ends. Get this thing off and get to back to where I want it to be. And today's drink of choice, really good. If you ever get a chance to go to OSP, go there. So National Parts Depot was nice enough to send me two of the same part, because they didn't pay for it. But one of the things they didn't do was from when they did the stamping originally, up here, it's not bent at all like this. You got to take a couple duckbill pair pliers that I have, and duckbill pliers for sheet metal to bend the flange back to whatever angle this is or whatever shape you need it in, which I've already done on the other panel they sent me. And you kind of see that across here. So one of those things to say about keeping the old panel and clues how to put together. So like the spot welds along here, it tells me how far in that new panel has to go from the center of the spot weld in. And so now you draw a line on there, shove this in there, shove the new panel in there, and you get the proper depth in that way. And pretty good eyeball in it, and that's like 400 thousandths of an inch or so in there. Let's double check. Yeah. Yeah, from the start of the radius here, where the bend's at, we go outboard, it's 400 thousandths. It's about 300 thousandths up here, which doesn't surprise me to change it because it's pretty thin on top. So let's draw that out. Alright, got everything marked into place here. And quite a little bit of trimming, a little bit of finagling. Pretty much like every part, they don't actually go on there perfectly straight every single time. So one of the things I'm going to do with the flange up here is I'm just going to flatten it out, the bend out with the little bit of kick out the bend they have there. I'm going to take that out and make it flat, and then from the flange on the outer cowl panel, bring that up to it. That way I have a much bigger area to weld to. Then down in here, I think I screwed up a little bit. Not too bad, not too much of a screw up. But where the bottom of the our door mounts to, I think I may have pushed that up too far in while I welded it on. There we go. Causing this to have too much of a lip over there. But I think the fix for that's going to be just get a piece of cardboard, make a template, weld another piece of metal on there, and then I'll trim it back to whatever I need and see how it fits with the fender. Not much more to go on fitting the cowl besides that. And then once I get on that, I'll take off the upper cowl dash panel. There's a little template I made to match about the amount of material I want it. Put on the sheet metal, transfer it over. I'll cut on the outside of the line here. Just give me a little bit of extra material if I need to grind it off or whatever. You know, wasn't measure twice, cut once, unless you're me. Measure twice and redo it 3 times. The marks, the Sharpie along here, so I know I can get the part back in the same location where I mocked it up at. And you can see down the holes, we're doing pretty good now, pretty good for alignment. And that's the extension I put in. Yeah, I probably could have made it a little bigger out in here, but that's not gonna make too much of a difference. Big thing is we got at least 1, 2, and 3 welds we could put down into there. Because, well, I have a little flame resistant spot welder. We can do 1, 2, and 3, and it's pretty simple, pretty easy. The rest of these are gonna be just plug welds or rosette welds for the rest of that. And last thing I need to do to this for fitting wise is just to straighten that flange out a little bit, then get it ready for welding onto the body of the car. All right, out here working on the car again. Just do a little simple stuff. This is not going on tonight, but I do want to lay out the holes and where I want to put all the welds are going to be at. And then also up in here on the dash, I painted it last night where the cowl panel meets the lower plenum. So I want to get some seam sealer up in there before I close it in. But I'm going to do that later before I go in, so I have to smell it. So anyways, I have this all trimmed up. Pretty much drops in place. Like most aftermarket parts, you need some finagling, some bunch of clamping throughout, all that fun stuff. But anyways, the back line here is this edge here, so I know don't go any further past that. And then I'm just going to do probably spot every 1.5 inches on this. Factory was kind of weird. They like 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 3 inches, 2.5 inch, whatever. I like symmetry. So anyways, get to the getting. There we go. Here we go every inch. Let's see, we worked pretty well. About a half inch from the upper flange there, and yeah, check that out. Eyeballed just about a 1/2 inch. Then 1 inch all the way down. Stays within a 1/2 inch of the alignment hole. Another 1/2 inch on the other side of that. 1 inch all the way down. And then through here, I'm just going to put one hole. That's all it really needs. It's not really structural. It's just filling a void. And plus also, when I get done, all this around here is going to get seam sealed. It's going to get seam sealed all along here. And then hopefully I can reach up from inside of there. So I can run some seam sealer up along here. That way it's, you know, really nice and weatherproofed. I like what from the factory did. So if I pop a couple holes in here, all I'm going to do is down in here where my little Harbor Freight spot welder can't reach. I just don't have the access down in here properly to get to the last couple. So I'm probably going to pop 3 holes in it, and the rest are just going to be the resistant slot welds. Should make my life a lot easier. That way I have to go weld, grind, weld, grind, weld, grind, weld, grind. This is the hole puncher flanger that I got from Eastwood a few weeks back. Works great. It's a 3/16 hole punch down in here, and it's got like a little flanger, so it does like a little half, so you can put overlap pieces of metal together. For stuff like this, makes it simple. That way you're not going all that. So like I said, I can get the resistance spot welder down about this far. The bottom three I can't. So what we're gonna do is take it, line it up with the hole, and where I have it marked on there. Give it a good once. There you go. .3/16 holes. That'll be plenty for this part. Like I said, I'm going to put one on the bottom here. So you see that, right? And that's it. Alright, so this is what I was talking about the seam sealer. This is where the lower plenum down here meets the cowl panel. I painted up there with some rust encapsulator. What I said, it says Eastwood's rust encapsulator paint, which is basically just their version of PR15, zero rust. And I just want to run a very crappy bead of seam sealer all up along in here and up along where this flange on the inside is. That way it makes it slightly more better in factory. I mean, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but hey, that's what I want to do, and I'm going to go do it. You ever try to brush your teeth with peanut butter? Yeah, that's like putting seam sealer on. But it's up in there, best I can get it. It's not my best work. Usually at work I have a Semco gun. It's like a caulk gun, or air-powered caulk gun. And I could have got a couple long nozzles and squirted up in there and used a sealing spoon to actually smooth that out. But it's in one of those inconspicuous areas where you won't be able to see it anyway. Who cares? It's just something I wanted to do to help with some of the weather. Keep the weather out of the car if I do have to park it outside, which I don't think I'm going to anymore. So get some light up in there. So yeah, there you go. It's all sealed up in there. Looks horrible. Like I said, it's like trying to brush your teeth with peanut butter. Alright, gonna clamp this bad boy on. It's got pretty decently located. Like I said, wood clamps. Hey, I have them, so why not use them? Because they're actually the throat of them is deep enough for me to be able to get what I need. So just put a shitload of clamps on here. And other things to move as I'm welding it. Or in this case, spot welding it. And yes, these are super cheap Harbor Freight clamps. They kind of do the job. That actually fit perfect when I had everything in there originally. But the way around it is, I'll show you. Put it back on here. Now I don't suggest doing this to your good tools, but this edge here fits down in here pretty well. But since I'm using a soft dead blow, it's not going to mar my hammer up at all. So. And all I'm doing is just trying to work the metal so it sits flush and better, more better, gooder. Oh yeah, that's looking a lot better. I can live with that. Around here. Yeah, I moved in a good amount. And I probably cut the hole too big anyway from when I drilled the spot weld out, but it is what it is. So, like I said, I'm going to reach up inside here. There's a access hole on the inside for where the vents were. It's all got too dark, but it's down in there for where the fresh air vent is. So I should be able to reach up in there, seam seal it, and get some epoxy primer up in there. Right back to clamping. Side. We got left this long here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spot welds. I'm going to clean up and get for a shower. Well, after about, was it last February, took all this apart just because I was curious, and now finally, January of 2022, it's all welded back on. Spot welds look pretty decent, and going around the bottom, you know, my plug welds here could look a little better, I get a little bit of feeling, but it is what it is. Everything matched up pretty well, kind of happy the way it looks. Plug welds up through there, except for that one there, it looks pretty shitty because I had the wrong voltage set, but that's easy enough to fix. Overall, looks good, solid again, and time to get on and do the other side. So I know I was talking about earlier before about the gap down in here, how I was thinking about cutting this and splicing it over, maybe, maybe tighten that gap up there. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. But for laying out the welds again, same thing as the other side. I'm going to just start from half inch here. Well, start from a half inch down from that corner, half inch up from the alignment hole. Same deal. Measure back how far where it's broke 90 degrees. Draw my lines and go every inch. Same on the bottom here. Gonna come up 1, 2, 3, 3/16 holes. The rest of this I should be able to get with the spot welder. And then same in here. I got put a couple of spot welds after I put that flange on there. I might drill 1, 2 holes there. Fill all those guys in, and then that'll be it for this. So I get some fiberglass filler to put up. pattern yet again, same as the other side, for how I'm going to spot weld it on there. I'm just making it a little bit more clear for me. You see it, pattern laid out all the way around, so you hold down the bottom there, and like I said, I'm probably going to punch a couple holes down in there until we can weld it. So one of the things I wanted to do to help drive this thing corner down in there, use this edge of the hammer, or the body hammer, put it in the radius, put it right in the corner. And that's tightening up that big old gap that we have there, so I'm going to put a whole lot of seam seal in there. And I want to get a few low taps this way. Make sure we're good to tighten up against that flange. Looks pretty decent. Got plenty of room to weld. Right there. Yeah. See, she's starting to come along. Big old welder clamp up here. Cool. Yeah, that's a lot better. That's more manageable. Alright, time for my favorite spot welder. I can't stress enough, and I know I don't do it a whole lot. Safety glasses, earplugs. Now I have earplugs in for this now, but I do the welding and grinding. I have a dust mask, I have earplugs, face shield, got respirators and stuff. To me, yeah, back in the day when I was a kid, who cares, whatever. I just went ahead and ground down stuff. Once I found the whole world PPE with my current job, using stuff like this, I actually enjoy it a lot more at the end of it, because that way I can not hack up half alone when I get done. But yeah, at least for this, for the spot welder here, at least put a pair of safety glasses on, some gloves, that way, any sparks or whatever, you're not getting burnt and hurt. Alright, enough of the dad talk for tonight. Let's lift this heavy. Oh, got everything ground down. Got all the welds up in here. They're ground down. All along there ground down. De-sanded over with 80 grit. Of course, the firewall, I think I may start patching that next. We'll see. Those all ground down up in there. All the spot welds down here, 80 grit, DA, and all along there sanded down. Compared to what we had from a year ago, new A-pillar covers, new cowl panel, positioned in the right place this entire area, all cleaned out full of rust, paint it, more welding in there than there was from the factory. So that's pretty much gonna end the side cowl panels being put on. I still got a little bit more to do work on the upper cowl panel here. So I'm gonna get the windshield, put that in there, double check everything, and then maybe do the doors over there next, finish them up and put the skins on them. Or I don't know, maybe I might smooth out the firewall next. We'll see. All right, thanks for watching, guys.